Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Christy and this is Christi Creates. And if you're not new, welcome back. Alright, here's a look at the sign we're gonna make. And first I'm gonna take one of the signs from the Dollar Tree, and this is one of their Valentine signs. And once I was pulling back the heart, I realized that the paper wasn't really attached very well. And as soon as I ran my little scraper tool under there, it came right up, besides right at the very end. So then I ran my heat gun over it and it just popped right off. No residue left, no glue left, nothing, you guys. It came all the way off so easy. So here I thought, I'm going to see if I can get it up under there, and it worked again. So I just kept pulling at it, and once it got to a place that it was stuck, I ran my heat gun over it. And then I removed that heart because I can use that in a later DIY this week. So I'm taking my white Waverly chalk paint and giving 2 coats to that sign. And then while that dries, I'm going to take these little snowflakes. They're just little wooden snowflakes that I had left over from Christmas. And I gave them a coat of white. And then I'm going to take this holographic glitter that I had and some of my Mod Podge from Dollar Tree. And I'm going to pour a little bit of my Mod Podge out, and I'm going to coat the snowflakes, and then I'm going to cover them in glitter. I do want to apologize if you hear thumping in the background. We're getting a new roof put on our house today because it got damaged in one of the storms. So that is what that noise is, and I had to go ahead and get this voiceover done, so I'm sorry if it's super loud. I'm going to continue to coat those, and then I will just let them sit there and dry for just a few minutes, and then you can go over them with a coat of Mod Podge if you want. I didn't because my sign's going to be hanging on the wall and no one's going to be touching it, so it shouldn't be a big deal. Like, I shouldn't have a lot of fall off of the glitter. And then I kind of touched up just a few little spots that had kind of a bald spot, and then I'm going to fold my paper up and you can dump it right back in. So that's why you be sure and do your glitter over a sheet of paper. Now I'm taking our sign, and we're going to take some Waverly chalk paint in the color ink, and I'm taking a tiny little chippy brush, and I'm going to dump out just a little bit of that paint. You don't need a whole lot, and we're just going to kind of go back and distress the sign a little bit. You know me, and gotta go for that farmhouse look. And so I'm just going around the edges pretty lightly. I didn't distress it a whole lot. I just kind of did it a little heavier around the edges and down the seam where those grooves were in the wood. And then I just kind of lightly everywhere else just kind of put what was left on my brush. If you will take a blow dryer on the cool setting, you can dry your chalk paint without it cracking. So that's just a little tip for you guys. Now I'm going to take these poster stickers from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to cut out all of the letters that I'm going to be needing. And for this, I'm going to spell out Wonderland with it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those out and then lay them out where I want them. And then the rest of it I'm going to hand letter, but you could also use a Cricut or some other stickers from Dollar Tree if you wanted. Here I was counting to see where the center was. I wanted to start in the center just so I was going to get it a little bit more even. I didn't want it to be lopsided too bad when I got done. So you're just going to pull those stickers off and you're going to press them down. And with it having those grooves on the wood, it's pretty easy to get them relatively straight because you can kind of line it up on the top and the bottom. And then just kind of evenly space them. And even if you don't get it exactly even, I think when you finish the entire sign, you won't really notice too bad. So I started in the center and I worked my way out. And here I will speed that up just so you don't have to watch it in slow motion. And for this sign, you could do any sort of a saying you wanted. I just thought since it's a winter DIY, I thought walking in a winter wonderland would be a cute little saying. So that's what I went with, but you can change it up for whatever fits your home or your lifestyle. I just thought this would be cute. Now I'm going to take my little paint pen. This is just one that I got at Walmart, and it is the extra fine, or I think it's fine actually, tip, and I'm kind of showing you here so you can see what it looked like. It makes it just a little bit easier to do those smaller letters. And I originally was going to just dive right in, and I thought, no, I better go over it with a pencil first, because sure enough, I will goof something up, and then I'll be mad that I didn't pencil it out. So I'm just kind of doing a little cursive there, and then at the top I'm just going with some kind of block letters. And then once I get it all covered up, I will go back and just kind of fill in some little thicker lines here and there. Everywhere that I had a downstroke, I made it a little thicker. It just kind of zhuzhes up your handwriting a little bit, makes it look a little fancier. Then I took that blow dryer on the cool setting again. And now I'm putting just a little bit of hot glue on the back of those snowflakes and gluing them down. And then I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue and some jute twine for a little hanger. And that is just a piece of masking tape I'm putting over the glue. It helps it stick better. I had seen that on someone's video a long time ago, back like when I first started YouTube, and I've used it and it works really well. And there was another little tip: if you will put a little bit of hot glue on the end of your glue stick when you're putting a new one in your gun, it will help the glue sticks to stick together so it won't keep falling out. Tip of the day. Now I'm taking a little bit more of that jute twine, and I'm cutting off a piece long enough that I can wrap it around about 3 or 4 times. Just like I said, that's personal preference, so whatever you think looks the best. And you would not have to do this part if you didn't want to. I just thought it needed a little something extra to kind of add that farmhouse touch, since I did add a little bit of sparkle, and that's only because your girl loves sparkle. Do you love sparkle too, or no? I love sparkle. I would sparkle my entire house, face, and everything, but my poor husband, like, he already walks around with glitter on his face half of the time because he's walked into my craft room or gave me a smooch and he ends up with it on his face, and they're like, why do you have glitter on you? So here's how it turned out. What do you think? Do you love it? I thought it was a cute little touch for winter. Today's video is part of the Fab 5 friend collab with Kristen K, Krafty Leeny, the Crafting Cousins, Our Green Acres, and moi. You have a chance to win a $50 Amazon gift card, so make sure that you like everyone's video and leave a comment on all the videos as well. And while you're there, you should subscribe. I will post the link to a couple of the videos down below, and make sure you check everybody else out. Alright, here's the next sign we're going to make. I'm going to take another one of those Dollar Tree signs like we just used in the last DIY. And same thing. You can pop that off. Hopefully you get one that comes loose as easy as mine did. And I'm going to do 2 coats of white paint just like we did on the previous sign. And I'm going to distress it just like I did on the other one as well. I skipped that since you just saw me do it. You don't want to see me do it again. So then I'm going to take some more of those poster stickers, and I'm going to take these little wood slabs. You can sometimes find these at the Dollar Tree. These were just some that I had on hand, left over from my Christmas stash. They do have a hole in them, but I am going to cover that up later on in the video. And I'm just going to put "Let It Snow." And again, you can choose whatever saying you want. If you like the look of this and don't want yours to say "Let It Snow," change it up. And you could also hand write this. I just thought it might be easier for those of you that don't like your handwriting. You can just get some of the stickers and just stick them on. Here I'm playing with how I want to put this on here. I wasn't sure, So I just kind of played around with it. I left it on here just so you could see the ways that I laid it out. In case you liked another way better, then you can do it that way. I finally settled on this right here because I thought it looked the best. I liked the little bit of an angle, and then the other ones being straight, and that way I could have a little spot so that I could add a bow later. So I'm just hot gluing all of them in place. And then once I get them hot glued, I'm going to put I think I'm going to make the bow first. Sorry, back up. So I'm going to go through this twice very slowly so that you can see what I'm doing. You're going to loop it around, go through the center, pull it up and over, and then you're going to lift up the part that's on your pointer finger and tuck it behind, and then pull it through. And once you get it pulled through, there's going to be a little hole there that you made, and you're going to push it back through that hole. And once you push it through that hole, you can pull that string that you've got a hold of, and it will tighten your bow up. I learned this from Melissa at All Things Krafty on YouTube, and it makes a perfect little bow every time. And again, I will show you one more time. I'm going to trim the tails of that off. And like I said, if you don't want to see it, you can fast forward. I just wanted to slow it down for those that would be interested. And I know sometimes it's easier to see what I'm doing in slow motion kind of than for me to explain it. So I will just hush and let you watch. Did you enjoy your silence? Alright, now I'm going to glue down all of those little bows so that we cover up the hole that is in the top. And then I'm going to put a jute hanger on the back. And again, I'm going to use the masking tape over it. And I'm trying to measure so that I can get it pretty even. I don't want it hanging lopsided. And then I'm just putting a little bit of extra glue on it. Now I'm taking just some random ribbons that I have a little bit left on the roll, and I'm dovetailing the ends. And I don't want it to be super big, so I'm cutting them pretty short. And all of these we're just kind of making a little messy bow. And each one of those I'm cutting dovetails in the ends, and I'm just kind of layering a bunch of different ones. You can layer fabrics, you can layer just some jute twine. I just kind of played with the layering a little bit, and then I didn't speed it up so fast you couldn't see what I was doing. That way you could kind of, if you wanted to build you one, you could. And then I'm also laying some of that jute twine over the top. I do end up cutting that a little bit shorter once I get the bow on. And then I'm taking an extra piece of jute twine, kind of wrinkling up the middle. You just kind of fold it back on itself just a little, and then I tied a double knot in the back, and then I will just loop it around that hanger and tie a double knot. Then I put a little bit of glue just to kind of help hold it in place. And then here is where I'm trimming those little pieces of twine down, and then I'm gonna go back and just kind of fluff the bow. All of that is wired ribbon. I can't talk today, can I? Wired ribbon, so I just kind of fold it and fluff it up. A fluffy bow is a pretty bow. And there's what it looks like. What do you guys think about this one? Do you like it better than the last one? Do you like it the same? I thought I would show you two different ways to use those long Dollar Tree signs. Alright, now this one isn't a Dollar Tree sign, but this is one of the little sleds that I got from the Target dollar spot. I believe it was $3. So I cut out a decal with my Cricut, and I just used some of the white contact paper from the Dollar Tree, I believe. And I wanted it to have a matte finish, and I didn't have any matte vinyl, so that's why I went with the contact paper. And just make sure before I put the transfer tape on the contact paper, I stick it to my shirt a couple of times, just so it kind of gets it a little bit dirty, and then it's not quite as sticky, and it doesn't stick to the contact paper as bad, so it's a little easier to pull it loose. So there's another little trick for you. It still holds well enough that you can get it on there, but it makes it easier to pull the contact paper off, or the transfer paper. And here I'm using a couple more of those little leftover snowflakes that I had from Christmas. And I'm looping, like I squeezed the end and put the twine through, and then kind of ran it back through the hole that I had created. I wanted those to look like they were hanging from the top. I do actually end up hot gluing them down just so they don't move around, but they are hanging from the twine. Here I'm taking just a little bit of my white chalk paint and a chippy brush and just very lightly going around the edges just to kind of make it look like it's got snow all over it, like you've been out playing in the snow. And here I'm kind of figuring out where I want those snowflakes, and I'm putting just a little bit of hot glue where they're touching so it kind of holds them in place, because I don't want them wiggling around once I get them in place. And then here's where I'm kind of figuring out where I want them, and then I'm going to put just a little bit of hot glue on the back, like I said, just to kind of tack them into place. And then I will tie the twine around the rope that is at the top, and then just kind of knot it over on itself. And then I put just a little bit of hot glue behind the knot just so the knot doesn't come loose. And this thing turns out so cute. I'm going to show it to you with a bow in the center, with a bow on the side, and with no bow at all. And you can decide which way you want to display it in your house. I liked it both ways, and I couldn't decide. I'm very indecisive at times. So I thought I'm just going to show them all the ways that I liked it, and they can decide for themselves. So do you like this one? What do you think? Make sure also, if you're on Instagram, to come over at Christicreatesdiy and say hi. And you can always introduce yourself in the comments down below. I love reading all y'all comments. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and hanging out with me today. I hope you've enjoyed them, and I hope you enjoy watching everyone else's video too. Make sure that you click on the link down in my description box to go watch some of the other videos. See you next time!